Hey, it's Frances here, and I want to show you a few moves to help you have some happy, healthy hamstrings. We'll do a little bit of strength focus, and then we'll focus on some more stretch. Here we go. First thing, come on down onto your back. We'll start with the bridge pose. Knees bent, feet on the floor, arms alongside the body. Pull the belly in, tuck the tail, and lift the hips up high. So simple bridge as a foundation. And let's go ahead and come on down, sequentially roll down through your spine. Focus here, we're going to shift to our hamstrings a little bit more by flexing the feet and pushing your heels into the floor as you lift up. So heels pressing, hips lift high. Your glutes will get some work too here. And then let's come back down. You can think of hinging at the hip sockets this time instead of rolling down sequentially. Heels dig in a little further away from you, and then lift the hips up, and then come on back down. Again, move the feet away, and hips lift up, and come down. Move away, and lift up, and come down. So we strengthen the muscle along different ranges of motion. So not just in one position. As we get farthest out, you won't actually lift, but you'll push your heels into the floor as though you're going to lift. And then we'll make our way back. So heels push in as though you're lifting. Belly stays firm. Come a little closer. Heels push in. Lift the hips high. And again, here we go. Belly firm and lift. And a couple more just like that. Keeping the abdominals supported so your back feels good. So working for a little bit of strength in the back body before we go into some stretching movements. All right. Okay, next. You'll use 2 blocks. Have them handy. We'll come to stand. Have 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. And let's stack those blocks up high. Bend the front knee, lengthen the spine, and then lengthen the front leg. Feeling a stretch into the hamstring. But before we go into that stretch and go a little further into it, let's bring the hands to the hips and bring the torso upright. So hinging from the hip sockets, imagine that your hands on your hips, you can imagine that you're holding a bowl. So the pelvis is like the bowl, and you're spilling water out of the pelvic bowl toward the front of your mat, and then lifting back up, moving at the hip socket, hinging at the hip socket. So as we spill forward and upright that pelvic bowl, we're doing some active movement here. Now for a little more challenge, you could do arms up, so you have a little more load away from your center of gravity. A couple more times like that. Let's do 2 more, here we go. And 1 more. Let's do the strength for the second side before we do the stretch. So bend the front knee, step the back foot forward, the front foot back. So getting ready for pyramid pose, your back foot's on an angle, hands to hips, folding at the hip socket, and then lifting up. Moving again. You can visualize the ball and socket joint of the hip. Keep the breath flowing. Let's do 2 more just like that. Now let's add some load, arms up, and hinge, and come up, and hinge, and come up. Keep going. 1 more. Now we'll go into the stretch. So bring your hands onto that block. Remember how we came in at first, bending the front knee, make sure the spine is long, and then lengthen the leg. So you can stay here if you feel enough stretch there. If you want to go a little further, you'll separate the blocks and let the body come down, let the head go. You might keep lowering the level of the blocks so that you can support you wherever feels comfortable. You might need to make them a little higher, make them a little lower. Let the weight of the head go. Take a full breath in. Take a full breath out. Again, a full breath in. And a full breath out. Let's come out of the side. Bend the front knee. Bring your hands onto your thigh to come out of it. Switch sides. And get ready for the second side. So we'll come right into it from here. So you can work the length of the spine and lower down to where you had it on the first side. I should mention that a very common thing to look out for in yoga is that if you have too much stretching happening at the hamstring insertion, you can get a tendonitis there. Some people call it yoga butt, and it's not the good one. So there's two yoga butts. There's the one that's like, oh, you've been working out. And there's the other one that's like, oh gosh, I have this pain at my sitting bone. That's the one we want to avoid. And that can be a hamstring tendonitis where the tendon actually pulls away from the bone a little bit. The way that you can work with that is to not go into your full stretch, even if it is, a stretch that you're familiar with that you like a lot. But if it's causing aggravation at your sitting bone, you really have to pull away from that for a while and really focus on more strength. So the first exercise we did from bridge, where we brought the heels out gradually, could potentially be a strengthener that could be helpful for that. Okay, so now we did our stretch here in our pyramid pose. Let's go ahead and come down onto one knee and lengthen the leg. Let's bring our blocks back up and take a moment to really lengthen the spine again, and then tip the torso forward from there. Again, you can adjust your blocks. If your hamstrings are really tight here, you might have the front knee bent, and that's okay. Take a full breath right where you are. Take a full breath out. And again, a full breath in. Full breath out. One more time, here we go. Now to come out of this, we'll slowly start to bring that front foot back little by little, and then switch sides. If you are feeling that kind of a tendonitis, then you want to pull out of your full range of motion for your stretch. Just come into where you're feeling a little more comfortable. So I happen to be feeling that a little bit on this side for me, so I'm going to not go down as far. And that's what you want to do as well. So decide what feels comfortable in your body and go with that. Right? Take a full breath in. Take a full breath out. One more full breath in right here. And one more full breath out. All right, now let's go ahead and come out of this one so you can sort of wiggle that front foot back. Move your blocks off to the side, and you'll use a yoga strap for this next part. This is probably one of the most beneficial types of hamstring stretching that you can come into. There's little chance of overdoing it here for your back. So you'll lengthen the leg. You can have the bottom leg straight. With the bottom leg straight, the thigh moving close to the floor, that will fix your pelvis in a relatively neutral position. And then you can come into a stretch for your hamstring. Now you can do a bent knee version, right? If you have a lot of trouble with tightness, the bent knee version is a good one to do as well. So bent knee version first, big breath in, big breath out, big breath in, big breath out, and one more big breath in, and a big breath out. Now with the straight leg, same thing. You want to really straighten the knee, really actively straighten that leg. Now you might not be all the way up toward the ceiling, you might be further out. Ideal range of motion, your leg would be straight up toward the ceiling with the knee straight. If you can come a little further than that, that's okay, right? As long as it feels okay. You want to make sure you keep your strength up. Again, if you have more range of motion, then technically full range of motion is straight up. If you have more range of motion, make sure you keep an eye on your strength. Let's get ready for the second side. So start with the knee bent, come into it, big breath in, big breath out, again a big breath in, and big breath out. Let's do the straight leg version. For me, I'm not going to go as far on this side because, again, I have that hamstring tendonitis on this side. Take a big breath in. Big breath out. And again, a big breath in. Big breath out. Let's do one more breath right here. And then let's gently start to release out of it. Come out of it. All right, so that's a couple of movements for you to help your hamstrings. I hope that it's helpful. And remember, if you have anything going on like a hamstring tendonitis or something that doesn't feel okay, make sure you ease back and don't push into any pain. If you did appreciate this video, make sure that you hit the thumbs up button, as it will help other people find it on YouTube. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell notification if you want to be notified for any new videos coming out. I hope this is helpful, and until next time, take care, and see you next time. Thanks. Bye.